All right, let's go to his teammate now, and let's talk through what the hell went on there, because Supermax was not super, had an absolute. The red mist descended and just cracked it. But let's talk about what led up to this.
Yeah, let's not talk about what led up to this. Can we just actually stop? Because I mean, Max has been smashed, and rightly so. But I just want to actually put in there that his original strategy before the safety car and his ability to drive that car on the absolute edge and give the McLaren something to think about was extraordinary.
Yep.
Can't take that away from him. However,
it's like the classic Max line, isn't it? Amazing. What a superstar. What a talent. But
his team need to get their shit together with the way they're interacting with him.
Yeah.
Because one, you put hards on. There's only two options. Now, I don't know how true this is, and I was meant to fact check it before I said it, but I'll just say it anyway. Apparently, and this is apparent, it's not guaranteed. Apparently, he had a set of softs that he'd done 8 laps on. That would have been a better choice than sticking those rock hard hards on.
Yeah. I remember you said that to me today, and you're like, I read that somewhere. I can't remember where.
Fact check it.
And if it was true, I agree. That was definitely. I guess what they indicated, or what they were saying post race and everything, was there was no other tires. They were all worn out. So in that instance, you have to do a hard tire. He just had no choice. But geez, I would not want to be in that engineering debrief when Max finds out you had 8-lap-old softs.
Yeah.
He would have the other thing is, what the hell?
Actually, I should have checked. I didn't check what lap he actually pitted on, because it wasn't that long before the safety car came out. So he probably would have been better just to stay out.
He was deeper in. He was like at 9 or 10 laps, I think, on them already.
I don't think he was that far in.
Yeah, because he was about 6 or 7 laps deep before they started looking at the pit stop, and then that's when the safety car thing happened. So he was getting towards like that sort of 8-9 laps at a minimum, I'd say. Yeah. So they were, and maybe they were the softs that someone thought they had, because they saw possibly those ones. Maybe that was the 8-lappers. I guess
hindsight's great, isn't it? No, you're right. Hindsight's great.
Yeah, it is. I guess so. In the lead up, you had the hard tires, which there was a lot of people who had been in that position who were talking, old engineers and strategists who were saying they should have had that discussion. Okay, if we're all out of tires, if we have a late safety car, we're going to stick on the hards. So clearly they didn't have that conversation, because Max was surprised by the tires. So that's sort of the first thing. So that was like, okay, if Max is always like 7 out of 10, that's probably got him to 8 straight away, right?
Yep.
Then you have the restart. He's angry about the tires. Has that massive tank slapper coming onto the straight.
Can we just? That's another thing, to hold that tank slap.
Oh, bravo!
Anyone else is in the fence. I don't care who you are. That car is in the fence with anyone else.
I reckon him and Piastri. Piastri's caught a couple of tank slappers, but not many in the modern car catch them. And so I agree. And then obviously had a little bump with Leclerc.
That was a nothing.
I just thought it was just like they were just squeezing for room, because Max was trying to push him shallow, and Leclerc, as he said in the cool down room, was trying to push across to keep the to get the slipstream.
Yeah.
And so happy days, because it was done without DRS, right? They hadn't opened or released DRS. So he got in, drives past,
Max
and then there was a bit of a blow up on that one. But then old mate George Russell. So the Turn 1 incident. Give us your take on the bump that happened there.
Desperate move by Russell, loses back end, hits Max, forces Max off. Max has to come back on the track around the bollard, retakes the position, play on.
And I'm Max's engineer saying, you've got to redress. You've got to redress. No. What? Why? In what planet, when you look at the replays, he did his famous last dive on the brake, so his axles were ahead. And I think Russell tried to anticipate that, so he tried to go late as well, lost that back end, bumps him, and it's just like, yeah, we're basically clearing the decks. Everyone's made a mistake. Go back to your positions. I don't understand why that call came from the pit straight, which took Max to 8.5 or 9, right? When you heard that.
That was the catalyst. Like, that was the complete problem. And this comes back to what I said, where they need to be very careful with how they're talking to him. I think even Nico made that comment. Not with them, it was actually with Lewis. Ironically, with another thing. But
that was another bad thing. Yeah.
But it's literally down to how the engineer is conversing with the driver at that time, and to be able to read the play in the sense of, is this the right time to do it? Now, even if, and my personal opinion, right? So this, take it however you want. But even if Max was in the wrong in that instance, just keep driving. Don't even tell him. Don't even worry about it. Just keep driving, because Max would probably pull the 5 seconds that he would have been penalized for it.
Yeah.
And don't worry about it, because the Mercs were slow as.
Yeah. He would have done that. And as the FIA confirmed, they didn't review it. They didn't look into it. No. There was just like they reviewed the initial thing, noted. I think that's the terminology they used, noted. And then they went no further action. Like, so, yeah, it was just, another screw up from GP, his engineer. And then we got down to, turn 5, 6, I think it is, the left-hander. You're going down the hill.
Yep, turn 5.
Turn 5, left-hander. And it appeared that Max was giving up that position, correct? Certainly looked like that from the outside.
It's playing a game. The game was, I'll let you get halfway past, George, and then I'm retaking the spot. That was the game.
Yeah, it definitely felt like it was right. I'll let you pass as soon as your axles are ahead of mine. I'm taking you back.
Yeah,
and then and maybe it's a good time to show the onboard.
Let's do that,
because from the outside, it did look like Max actually like unwound the steering wheel to bump and then go. That's what it appeared like the outside. That's what all the commentary and a lot of the rigmarole
was about.
It was all about. But so I've got this is a post, and this is from Romanian F1. So you can go check it out. Romanian F1. You can see it up here. And he's just talking about the onboard. So apparently there's something in the system where they can only show one onboard at a time, which is why they didn't get the onboard for Max at any point, right? So this is Max at the bottom, and they show Russell ahead.
So he's turning.
So you can see, I don't know if I can pause. I'll make sure I try and get it. You can see here, if you're watching the next step, it's a definite late turn in. Okay, because you can see right here, George is on the outside, but yet he has commenced turning.
Yes.
Max has not. So, right, and you can see the front wing axles are ahead now. And then here, so George has turned in, expecting Max to be a little further over near the apex. And here you can just see that is basically understeer that's happening. He's got the wheel cranked. He should be going further left, and he's not. And then they basically collide wheels, and then he just goes and like turns a little bit more and goes on. So watch it once more. Turn in, understeer, bump, drive out.
Yep.
So, it is
So seeing that, Damien,
Yeah.
is he turning his car into a missile like some are making out?
Nope.
I didn't think so either. Right. I was as peeved as most people were on seeing the externals.
Yeah.
But once I saw that, I went, okay.
I can't believe.
This was a game, and this is why he only got a 10-second penalty. This was a game of, I'm going to let your axles ahead. George thinking that he was going to get let by, and then turning in for the apex without realizing that Max is actually going to fire back down. And then both of those things come together to cause a lovely little side bump.
Yes. So, and that onboard is clearly what they have used to kind of do part of the review. Because as we all saw, that outboard shot was kind of like helicopter or drone or something. It literally did appear that way. And that's why Rosberg got fired up and said, that needs to be a black flag. I would love for him to have seen now that they've released it, the onboard, and just maybe scale back a little bit, mate, because he got real fiery about it. And, sometimes you just need more of the picture, more data to understand what's happening. And, I've certainly softened where I sort of feel like 10 seconds was fine. 10 seconds was fine.
Yeah, I think, as I said earlier, realistically, I think a drive-through I would have been happy with as well. Either of those two penalties seems fitting to me for that particular contact, because the contact wasn't deliberate in a sense, but it was deliberate in what he was doing, and he stuffed it. So then there has to be a penalty. I think it was right. I don't have too many problems with it. I do have a problem with people saying he was using his car as a missile and things like that, because that's just not the case. We've seen time and time again through the years past, Schumacher on Villeneuve using his car as a missile. Schumacher on Barrichello coming down the front straight of Hungaroring in 2010, where he almost put him in the fence. We have seen things that are using your car like a weapon almost. This was not one of those instances.
The Kvyat torpedo,
the Kvyat torpedo. There's so many.
We have seen it, and once you see that on board, I don't know how anybody can change it. It's probably something we should share on our socials just to wrap that up. So the more people that see that, hopefully, will kind of squash it.
Yeah,
and I hope that the commentary team use that to maybe simmer down some of what they've created.